Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Good morning. It is Monday. Good Monday morning. It's July 22nd, 2019. We're going to have a break in the heat. Finally, people. Only going to be 89 today. Only 89. Oh, my goodness. It was so brutal over the weekend. Do you live in the Northeast? Are you feeling the pain that we were feeling over the weekend? My sister lives in Dallas, and even she was like, wow, even in Dallas, we would have a hard time with the heat indexes that you guys are experiencing. Around 110 degrees, they were saying for the heat index. But, you know, I have a little temperature gauge outside my house on the deck. And about 2 or 3 o'clock yesterday, I thought, okay, let me try and go outside a little bit and see if I can stand the heat. The temperature read 105 degrees, and I'm like, oh my. Sit down, got my fan out, was taking in the scene. I was doing a little bit of reading. I was in the shade. Then, half hour later, I look at the temperature gauge again, 108. That's not even, taking the humidity into account. I'll tell you, it was so brutal. Literally, when I would walk out the door, it felt like I was walking into a swamp, a wet swamp. It was brutal. The air conditioner couldn't even keep up. I tend to keep my air conditioner pretty high for the most part because, I'm cheap. But also, when it's that hot out and you're coming in from outside, you don't need it to be 70 degrees or 72 degrees. It's going to feel cold when you walk into 76 degrees. So I typically keep the air around 75 normally. I've been bumping it up to 76 this past weekend because, again, it's so hot. You don't need it super cold in here. It's going to feel cold. And I did worry a little bit about taxing not just my system, but the whole system on a whole. And you don't want to be without air in this kind of heat. Joe and I had talked about it on Friday. I was like, oh, my gosh, what happens if the air happens to go out or something? He's like, well, we do have a window unit that we tried to sell and weren't able to get the price we were looking for, and so we kept it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, thank God. I hope that bad boy still works. We haven't had to use it, but the lowest I saw the air conditioner over the weekend was 77. It did get down a little bit lower at night because I turned it down to about 72 at night. When I went to bed last night, I had turned it down to about 74 when we had come in from sitting outside and sweating the bejesus out of us. And when I went to bed about an hour and a half later, it was still at 77. So I still put it down to 72 anyway. And I was at 72 when I got up this morning. So I saw a couple people posting about how, their air wasn't really working. Somebody had mentioned that air conditioners are designed to keep the house 20 degrees cooler than outside. No more than 20 degrees. So if it was 105 out, then your air conditioner is probably not going to get into the low 70s, is what they were saying. So anybody who had problems with their air conditioning this weekend, man, do I feel for you. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to sleep because that's what we had talked about when Joe had mentioned that we did have the window unit that we could always fall back on. I said, if our air conditioner broke, I'm like, I'd have to go to a hotel or something. There is just no way I would ever be able to sleep in this kind of heat. And then he was like, yeah, we have that window unit. I'm like, oh, yeah, score. Thankfully, we didn't need it. Hopefully, you didn't have problems. I did see a couple of people on Facebook talking about some issues. But hopefully, you were able to make it through this weekend. The heat is supposed to break today, as I mentioned. Somebody had posted on Facebook that it's going to be in the 70s a high of in the 70s for either the end of this week or next week. I'm not sure which, but they were like, we're going to need a coat in the 70s because we're so used to over 100 degrees now. But things should be getting better. One way to beat the heat this weekend was to go to the movies. Lion King makes $185 million over the weekend. 9th highest opening ever. That's a lot of money. $185 million. I'm wondering if everybody liked it, because this is one of those movies that had so much hype. People were going to go see it regardless. I have an appointment today, 11:40. Me, Simba, we're gonna see eye to eye. We're gonna bond. We're gonna hang. I'm looking forward to it. Today's the day I get my Lion King fix, and then I will have a full review for you tomorrow. I know you can't wait. Also last night, which I did not watch yet, so you don't have to worry about spoiler alerts for me. Tomorrow you might have to worry. No, I don't usually do spoiler alerts. We'll see. We'll see how good it is. Big Little Lies. Season finale was last night. So that is on my list of things to do today as well. Watch Big Little Lies. So that's been really good this whole season. Only 7. We only got 7. Feel a little shortchanged. Last year we got 8. So we'll see what happens. I had a mini high school reunion over the weekend. Ben Salem High, class of 87. Woo, woo. Had my girls Libby and Kathy. We had a little girls' weekend. They came on Saturday. We hung. We spent the night. Got some brunch the next day. Kathy did not partake in the brunch. She had to go. So me and Libby went down to Barnegat Light on the island and had ourselves a fancy brunch and a big adult type drink. I had myself an old fashioned, which I told Libby, I said, all of a sudden I discovered, and it's not like I just discovered them. I just had them for the first time. I used to make old fashions. I used to work for this bar on the island, and it was an older clientele. And I had to make these old fashions all the time. And it's just something I wasn't interested in even tasting. But I was at a restaurant in New York City not that long ago, maybe about a year or so ago. And they had an old fashioned on the menu. And just reading the ingredients, I was like, because, I've developed a love for mint juleps. And that is made with bourbon. And old fashions are made with bourbon. So I thought, let me give this a shot. And I really liked it. So I'm like, I don't know how I became an 80-year-old man overnight. And my friend Libby was like, oh, no, my kids love old fashions. They drink them all the time. Love old fashions, Manhattans, all these old-time drinks coming into play with the millennials. So she had texted her son saying that I was having an old fashioned. He's like, old fashioned at noon on a Sunday? Sounds like my kind of girl. That's right. Those bad boys are strong. I sipped that baby for a long time. Sipped it, drank a lot of water, sipped it, drank a lot of water. Yeah, you can't go too hard that early on a Sunday with liquor like that. If it was a beer, it'd be a little different story. So we hung out outside for a while on Saturday when they got here, reminiscing, catching each other up on what's been going on in our lives. The last time we had all gotten together, it's been a couple of years. It's been a while, maybe 5 years. We were talking about it, but then we forgot about some of the other gatherings we had in between. I've seen them both separately, but not all of us together in quite a long time. So we were, catching each other up on everything that's been going on. My husband made a fantastic dinner. We had barbecue ribs on the new smoker that he calls Little Smoky, and some chicken, and I made some of my macaroni salad. I know, I've been told it is not pasta salad, it is macaroni salad. Okay, that's what I'll call it then. So, what else did we have? I made my famous corn casserole, which was a big hit. Everybody loved it. You know why? Because it's delicious. And then I made a little caprese salad with some tomatoes and mozzarella and the fresh basil from my garden and a little bit of vinaigrette. So it was a delicious dinner. And then Kathy had brought some amazing desserts. big bowl of fresh fruit, which is always a hit. Love fresh fruit. And cannoli dip. People love the cannolis. They love the cannolis. So once we had dinner, I said, we're going to eat dinner inside because it's just too hot outside to eat hot food outside. So we stayed inside, and at that point, nobody wanted to go outside again. They're like, yeah, we're good here. So we played a little game called Cards Against Humanity. You may have heard of it. Yes. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Inappropriate. A lot of times. We laughed so hard during this game, which I won, by the way. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, right here. Kicked ass in that game. That's right. Because at one point, one of the girls was like, let's not even keep track. Let's just, let's just play, and pick. And I'm like, no, there's got to be a winner. Hello. And she was like, yeah, she's way too competitive to just not keep track. little competitive, just a little bit. But we laughed so hard at some of these answers. Oh my gosh, my stomach was literally hurting. And I joked when I was like, oh, I think I just peed a little. Kathy's like, whoa, I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. I'm like, it's a pull-out sofa. Don't worry about it. It wasn't that much. Come on, people. Things happen. It means they're having fun, right? Nothing as much fun as peeing your pants. All right. I'll stop. But we had so much fun. Like I said, and then we had brunch the next day. It was nice. It was just a really nice visit, and I hope everybody had a good time. I had a blast. So some news I wanted to get to let you know about. Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman will be playing Thor. Yes, that's right. A woman playing Thor. We're really extending things now. We're getting out there. We're including women in a lot more things. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to do it very well. I'm sure they're going to write the part for a woman and not just throw a woman into a man's part. That's what I'm hoping anyway, because, I'm all for equal rights between men and women when it comes to equal pay and equal treatment and all that stuff. But again, there are differences between men and women. Men are a lot stronger. They have a lot bigger muscles, and they can handle a lot more labor than us ladies can. But I probably won't see it. I haven't seen any of the first 3 Thors. I don't really care about these movies. I did see Wonder Woman. A woman played Wonder Woman. That wasn't out of the realm of normalcy, so that was pretty good. I did enjoy that one. So we shall see how Natalie Portman does with Thor. And then I just heard that Scarlett Johansson, I don't know what part she plays. Because, again, I don't watch these movies. But, the last Avengers movie did so well, and they said it was the final one. So now they're figuring out a way to continue to make money without going back on their word and making another Avengers movie. So they're going to have Scarlett Johansson's character star in her own movie. So we'll see how these women superheroes fare in the movie theater. Obviously, Wonder Woman did amazing. People loved Wonder Woman. So I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think we need more women, strong women role models. And that is definitely one way to do it. I wanted to get to my topic, which came from the unbearable heat that we had over the weekend. And I had asked the question, would you rather a day that feels like 110 degrees, all humidity too, by the way, not the dry heat, or deal with a foot of snow? I thought that the foot of snow would be enough to turn people off and be like, ugh, nobody wants to shovel a foot of snow. I have to say, I'm a little surprised. Most of the people, slim margin, said they would opt for snow. All right, well, you must not have to shovel it then. That's all I'm saying. When I first moved to Long Beach Island the first time, everybody kept telling me that we didn't really get that much snow because the island stayed pretty warm between the bay